Yo, I'm joined by my good friend over there, Adam, in the West Coast. How's it going right there?
Great, man. Great.
Wonderful. This is a testimonial interview. Yeah, tell us about what was your background before you transitioned to product?
I was working at one of the bigger tech companies, and I was in solutions mostly, sales, and I
Hmm.
was also creating creative solutions, stacking different possibilities, driving towards customer outcomes. And it just felt like I could do a lot more. But in that environment, I was having to follow a script, if you will, and I felt like I wanted to do more, and I could do more. And so I did my research and I found out that product is definitely where I needed to be. Um, and so I started looking into it, and I came across a couple different, pathways to get into product. And then I found in this service, what was different about this service was how, first of all, clear they mentioned what you can capture out of it. You'll get something in product management if you do these things. And here's our success rates. And when I saw those success rates, I thought it was like a little bit too good to be true,
Hmm.
if you will. And but after talking to them a little bit more, I decided to take the dive. I think what convinced me was they were able to kind of explain the procedural approach that answered my questions, and I took the dive. And it was at a time that it was a high risk investment for me at that time. So it took everything I had at that moment. But when I got into it, I gotta tell you, the steps that are recommended, I didn't even have to get through all the steps before I landed something. So from the day I signed up, within 6 weeks, I had my job accepted. So it took me about 3 weeks of study, 3 weeks of application, and boom, I got it. So I was apprehensive at first because it sounded too good to be true. But once I got into it, this is no nonsense, no fluff method.
How long was the process total? So, I mean, 6 weeks then.
6 weeks from the day I signed up to the day I signed my offer. 6 weeks. I could not believe it.
Whoa. And you came from a solution sales background.
Yeah, I came
Yeah.
from sales. But I was doing well in the sense that I was being a little bit more creative than some of my counterparts about how I stacked these things and I drove to the outcomes. Um, that's why I felt limited in what I was doing, and I knew I could do a lot more if I could just do it. So now instead of like following the script, I'm writing the script in my new role, and it is just
100%.
a night and day.
100%, man. And that's exactly how things should be. Okay. And then um, there's a lot of I mean, I think we're truly living in the greatest time to be alive, which is there's so many different resources to help people make a transition, not just in product management, but I mean, now that you've been in the job, like how do you like product management compared to, your previous life?
There is no comparison. This is so much more engaging and creative and challenging. There's what you learn in the tools, and then
Mhm.
there's the reality of it. And I got to be honest with you, the reality of it is even more fun than what you'd think it would be. What's going to come each day and how you're going to handle it, problem by problem solving, is just constant churning of creative problem solving and dealing with different people. It's so multidimensional that it's never boring.
Got it. Got it. Where do you see yourself go? I mean, how many interviews were you doing like a week?
Ah, I love this. I tell this story to some of my friends about my journey getting into here. And I told them before, typically when before this program, I would go apply for jobs. And if I was lucky, I'd have maybe 3 interviews in a week. And then when I did this program, I mean, I was having 17 interviews in a week. I had to keep a spreadsheet to keep my notes straight. I had no idea sometimes who I'd be following up with or replying back to unless I referred to my spreadsheet. It was unbelievable.
Man, imagine there was a service out there that was booking you 17 dates a week.
Honestly, the method is so clear and precise that I was looking into hiring somebody to apply for me because even though I was hitting the numbers, what you're asking me for, suggesting, even though I was hitting it, I was thinking, gosh, I could increase my chances just by having this prescriptively applied by somebody, or a tool or something like that, because the results, once you get into the rounds and the interviews, they're stage by stage. It's been boiled down to a perfect science. Get through the rounds, what you're saying, what you're not saying. It's perfect.
Oh my gosh, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. And 6 weeks, how many offers?
Well, that's the funny thing is that I had gotten in that time 3 offers. And usually in the program, it gets you kind of, you're using those as a preparatory place. You're applying for maybe locations that that might not be what you normally apply for, but you do it so you can learn and get experience to the final goal for the job that you really want. But I found the job I really wanted inside of those practice areas, and I've been there ever since. I thought I was going to the not the salary target salaries that I was starting for ended up dwarfing the target salary that I ended up getting. And then once I got to the later negotiation process, I followed the suggestions you make to a T, as uncomfortable as it made me, as out of my normal character it would make me to push back against something like that. I followed the advice, and it worked like a charm. It worked like a charm. I could not believe it.
Bro. So what was you don't have to give hard numbers out here, but what was the percentage increase from your previous job?
Ha. It was well, the Alton, it was about 2.5 times.
Wow.
That's like with that we all included with you know bonus and vacation time and everything included. It was 2.5 to almost 3 times what I was getting before.
Wow. So that's like,
It was
wow,
life changing.
250% increase.
It's life changing.
Oh my gosh. Yo, this is why I love what it is that I do. Despite that, sometimes I get these hate comments from people that are like, is it the real deal? Honestly speaking, like what do you have to say to like some of the people that I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of snake oil being sold right now too, but what would you have to say to somebody that's considering joining this program?
I would say it's okay to have doubts, but the numbers speak for themselves. I'm a real person. I am not paid to do this. I literally reached back out because I've been so excited and about how successful this program was. And I tell my friends, and I've even had other people sign up because I'm saying, if you're serious and you want a result, then you cannot go wrong with this. This will be the best investment of your life. And so to those folks, listen, if you really want it, then do it. If you really want to get in product, then do the program. You'll get in product. Period. Full stop.
What do you have to say to the people that are really scared about, I guess, the rejection, social rejection that they have to deal with out there? Because I feel like that's what people are trying to really protect themselves from is like,
You get for rejection. Listen, it's a numbers game. If you're coming in fear of rejection, then you already have kind of the wrong mindset. This is kind of like baseball. I mean, like if you're batting 300, you're a rock star, and you're only hitting a small percentage of the pitches thrown at you, right? This program, it gets your muscles built for to how do you deal with rejection. Now, if I were to be back in the market again and do it, rejection is no longer a consideration. I know that there's going to be rejection. You're not going to be a fit for everything, but when you play the numbers, you're ruling out rejection one interview at a time, and you're getting better every interview for the job you really want. So the numbers are in your favor when you play the numbers game.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. Any last
I'll say
words,
one more thing. I'll say
please?
one more thing about that is that the fear of rejection, I feel like in retrospect, is largely coming from imposter syndrome. Okay, you feel like perhaps you're going to get rejected because you're not a fit. What this program actually does is it it forces you to reframe at a fundamental level what your skill sets really are, and then you're able to go and build your profile back up based in the language of what you already are capable of. And so for me to actually go and say I did these things, I didn't have to BS anybody. I only reported what I actually was able to do, but I was able to reframe it in a way that actually it is it that matches what they're looking for. I was able to take what was not seen normally and make it seen through this program, if that makes sense.
That
So
does.
um, that's what it did. It broke me down to the molecular level that I needed to build it back up in a way that made a difference and be seen and be heard. And I'll tell you what, coming from somebody who had serious imposter syndrome, for folks who have imposter syndrome, taken from somebody who had it, you I am now being recognized organization wide for my contributions, and this is coming from somebody who had imposter syndrome. I'm not just surviving in my role. I'm thriving. So it's a path to discovery that you can get, but you just got to take that step.
Yo, man, I love it. This really, my gosh. This makes like we've been cranking out 18-hour days, almost 7 days a week over here because, honestly speaking, people have been feeling pretty low about what's going
Mm.
on in the marketplace. And despite all the craziness, I just don't think people are taking enough action, which is kind of sad, but it's like if you have really low result, I mean, if you take really low action, you're just going to get really low results. Um,
Mm.
so I cannot thank you enough because I think this is going to really like reignite for a lot of people to just go back and get after it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Do the work, guys. If you just do the work, it's going to happen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adam. I'll go ahead and talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.